This guy out galloping in the pasture a while back ran into a piece of cable, and he's got some scarring in his shoulder, and you can feel it. And you know, it's one of those things you can work with. We worked on him a little earlier today, and I worked with Ray Morris of Horseback Basics of New Zealand, as where I learned the massage and helped with his business back in the days we were running clinics together. But for horse owners, they can learn to do a lot, and I like to see people work with their hands because they're very much about feel the fibering of the cross fibering of the muscle, and feel what's going on in here. And the other thing is, you know, to get into a rhythm, think about how horses massage each other. That tends to work pretty good for a horse because that's kind of natural to them. And you know, you can kind of ease in and out on pressure, find out what they like. You don't want to try to abuse them, and that's one reason that, like with you know, like hard objects, trying to massage in places like this, I don't like that. With my fingers, if I'm hurting my fingers, it's probably too much for the horse. And also I can tell what I've got a hold of in there because I can feel it. I can feel where the scarring is. And you know, something like this, you work around it, work through the muscle bellies around it. And as things soften up, then you can start getting into the scarred area. So you want to work all the way through here and try to start breaking up some adhesions. And you don't want to do this till you got the horse just so sore he can't stand it. A little bit at a time, a little bit at a time, a little bit at a time, and you can do a lot to break it up. Now, I had my hands on this horse earlier, and you felt before we worked on it, and you felt after, and how much difference could you tell in just a few minutes of light work in the area?
Just in a few minutes, the upper portion of the injury was already softening.
So you don't, I mean, you're not trying to force it, you're not trying to ground it out of there, but you just get a nice little rhythm. This is kind of closer to how a horse grooms each other. And then you can walk your way through it with your fingertips. You can work on their knuckles, work on the blade of your hand. You can get up onto your thumb. That might have been a little more pressure there, so you can back off, but I can feel what's in there, where with a using an object, you can't. You don't know. And that's kind of not fair to the horse. So, you know, when I'm working with my clients to work on something, I always work with hands, and you need to learn the feel of it before, and you're starting to like that a little
I like
bit.
that.
The feel of it before you start diving in, and if you learn to feel your way through it, you will get to where you can get more done with less physical effort. Because to massage a horse, if you're pushing your way through it, it's exhausting. If you feel your way through it, you can get a horse much happier, and the better your feel gets, the less you will have to fight with it. But if horse owners can learn, and just a little bit of time, it will be better. And you can come over here and feel that again and see what it feels like from where we were just a minute ago.
There's definitely softening in the tightness, especially right here. It's
And you
different.
saw what little bit of time I put into it right there.
It wasn't even a minute, probably.
So.
Oh, wow. And that being connected to the shoulder and the jaw and the sternum, I mean, it's going to have to make all of his riding more comfortable.
Yeah, it will range of movement. If you start losing range of movement, you start losing performance. It's kind of like this. You start seeing muscle breakdown, you start seeing loss of performance, and down the road you see lameness. And everything that goes on here does affect what goes on with the hoof itself. And unloading the pressure, or getting the shoulder where it can move, and you get a bit freer flow of movement, you're going to have less odd compression problems in the hoof.
That makes sense.
He'll be a happier guy and be able to pack a lot of trail miles.
And that's what we want.